Okay, we're back again. Hope you're well. Good afternoon, Ayakami. Hey, Augusto, how are you doing? Good morning, Stefan. Everything working okay? Good. Right, how's your trades been? Hope you've been well. Hope you've all been well. Let's give it a minute before we get started. Hey, Neymar, good morning. Okay, good. Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? Where have you been? Some losses was part of it. Yeah, I did that as well. I was just sharing on the Discord channel with you guys. Sorry, hang on a second. Yesterday, usdcad made money, hit a take profit on that. Euro hit a stop loss on that, and then the US yen currently running on stop loss at break even. So let's gonna see how that runs along. There is no 100% profit in trading. That's a thing that social media tends to try and get people to believe, but it's not going to happen. You are going to win some and lose some. Hey Nav, good morning. How are you doing? All right. So if you are new to the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know where are you joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you again for joining me on this daily market analysis. If you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. That would help massively. And you can also ask me any questions. If you've got any questions, do put it into the chat and let me know. Okay, you can check out the descriptions for the links for the Discord channel. You can take your discussions beyond this session into the Discord channel as well. Okay, we'll look into it. Today we have the JOLTS jobs openings for the US to be released, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is hopefully going to be a lot more exciting than the past two, or yesterday and a bit this morning, right? Good morning, Christina. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Now, with that, a quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Now, take that away. Looking at this, hang on, let's check my yen. Okay, my yen is doing well. It's pushing to the downside. My stop loss is at break even, so I'm just looking for this to come down towards that 50% level. I have it at 155.55. That was in the Discord channel for you guys as well. Okay, so you should join the Discord channel if you haven't already. What has happened since the last time we spoke? Why is the dollar index so weak? Why did it break to the downside? Didn't push up at all. It broke that trend line and that triangle. I think Neymar was asking about that. It broke the trend line and a triangle, signaling further weakness on the dollar, mainly because it came as a bit of a surprise, where we saw last night the ISM manufacturing PMI for the US. It was 49.2, expected a 49.8. I was even thinking that it might get to 50 something, right? It might get into the expansionary phase to push the dollar index to the upside, but it surprised with that downside move further into the contractionary phase at 48.7. So it went from 49.2, borderline contractionary, almost expansionary, went further slow down to 48.7, which led to that drop. You see that happened at, I'll zoom in a bit, that happened at 10 o'clock there, So at 10 o'clock, we saw that go from the dollar index go from 104.52 within the hour down to 104.23 and then continued down to the support level at 104 round number. Okay, so that's why we saw that drop. And then with that, what else we had was also with the CME Fed Watch tool. Bring that up. You see, again, with that slight slowdown, we're swinging back. That 0.1% is swinging between the rate cut decision and the rate hike decision, but ultimately it's still at a 99.9% chance of rates not changing on the 12th of June. Okay, so right now what we're contending with is a dollar index testing and looking like it's rejecting that support level at 104 of the round number. Now with that, what else we have to look forward to for today? We just had 30 minutes ago, we just had the Swiss CPI number released at 0.3. No big surprises there, came out as expected, as previous. So no big surprises there. Tonight at 10 p.m. GMT plus 8, we do have the usdjolts jobs opening to be released. It was 8.49. Expected a slight slowdown at 8.37. I don't typically worry too much about the JOLTS jobs openings, but it does give a little bit of an indication of how the non-farm payroll or non-farm employment change number might be on Friday, right? The ADP later tomorrow, and then the non-farm employment change on Friday might give, this number here might give a little bit of an indication. I think that we might be seeing a slight no change in terms of numbers. I think it might be the 8.4, between 8.37 to 8.49. I'm anticipating that kind of number, right? So then to tomorrow, we have the Aussie GDP number at 9:30 a.m. to be released, looking to stay at 0.2%. And then tomorrow's session, I'll tell you more about the big one for tomorrow, which is the BOC, the Bank of Canada's interest rate decision, looking for a rate cut. I'll tell you more about that during tomorrow's session, so make sure you tune in for that. And we also have the ADP non-farm employment change, okay? Now, with all that said, looking at the charts. And before that, hey Michael Dollar, how are you doing? Can we look at the Euro Pound? Yes, we can. Angel Case, good morning, how are you doing? Hey YJ, good morning. Hey June Marinas. Hey Sly Days, how are you doing? Good morning. Okay, with all that done, now today is the 4th of June. We've seen the dollar push to the downside, so we'll take that, didn't bounce off that trend line. That trend line, since it's broken, we can take that away, right? And it's also broken that level, that swing level. I'll keep that there as a bit of a reference point. I'll check this. Hey Basanta, how are you doing? I'll check this level, and also I'll check this level. I've seen that because of that big move down. I'm looking at the 23.6 there, and then from this small move we're also looking at the 23 and the 38.2, and possibly that 50 as well. No, okay, we're looking at that. So now what I'm looking at here is that the dollar pushing to which pushed to the downside has found a bit of a support here at this 104 round number. UJ rocking it, hang on, that's fine, it's not that far away from my take profit. I'll just let it hit let's say 75, about 75 pip take profit. I'll let that run. So we see that, oh, one more thing. One reason why we're seeing the dollar push slightly to the upside, but yet we're seeing the US yen dropping that drastically could also be due to this headliner here 6 hours ago from the Japan Ministry of Finance Suzuki, or Minister of Finance Suzuki. The FX intervention had effects to some extent and will continue to respond appropriately. Right? Will continue to respond appropriately. So it looks like the market is taking the hint from that to think that they will, that next intervention coming in shortly. They're thinking that Bank of Japan could intervene. It might be front running it. I don't think this is an intervention, but looking to front run it. So I'll skip ahead first. I'll tell you this. How I looked at this was, we were planning for it to bounce. It didn't. The dollar shot down. What I was watching was how it tested and rejected that point. So I was watching it all the way from there. Right, so it tested. I thought it was going to push back up. It didn't. It rejected. I waited, and then as it pushed lower, I got in, and then now it's running to the downside. I will let it run. Okay, so that's the trade to the downside. Okay, so now coming back to the dollar index. I don't need that. Take that away. I'll have this point here because of those swing levels. Keeping this in mind, I don't actually need those. Okay, I'll keep that. Okay, so dollar index, what I'm looking at here would be that it might have found, could have found support at 104. Right? It's retracing now. We're looking for it to break this area. So break above this area, 104.20 to 104.30. Break 104.20 to 104.30. We could see further upside. Right, so what I'm thinking is that if it goes up to this point here and it breaks above, we could see further upside. Let me just think a bit. Don't need that. You see that point is important. 104.20 is going to be quite crucial. If it breaks up above that, okay, see further upside to, I would say about 104.50. Right? Why I'm hesitating? What I'm thinking about right now is that because of that move to the downside, I'm actually thinking between whether it could break up or whether it could test this area and push back down again. And this is a 61.8 level that has been holding since April. All right, and if it does break this point, then we might have further downside to about that point there, 103.60. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'm not exactly convinced that it would push up all the way. That's why I'm hesitating, because I don't see any big reason why it would. Right? So I'm actually looking at this. Okay, that's gonna hit. I'll leave that. I'm looking at this to test and reject the push back down actually. I like that trending scenario. Okay, could have found support. Might bounce. Okay, let's change that to, oh wait, I have to go back. Okay, yeah, let's change that to found support at 104, retracing to around 104.20, looking for more downside. I don't see that upside actually. So I'm looking at this, testing around this area to retrace back down. If it breaks 104, then we could see 103.60. Okay. Looking for more downside below 104, could reach 103.60. There we go. So I see that push up for heading back down. Jimmy just said possible back down. Yeah, I don't see it climbing right back up. Next, of course, there is a chance that could very well happen. But at this point, on the current point, I see it testing and rejecting back down again. Okay, if it breaks through, then we'll update on the Discord channel. Now, with that anticipation, then we're looking at dollar weakness. That's just about to hit. I'll let that go. That didn't trigger, so we'll take that away. Further dollar weakness is going to push the Kiwi to the upside. It's just along this point here, so it could get up to that resistance level. Bit of a retrace here, consolidation or retrace before heading lower. It'll sit there. I would be looking at, that's a very small move, 20 pips to the upside. Let's see. Okay, we'll think about this. Okay, so I'll be looking at this as a consolidate, break above 6195, stop loss 20 pips, take profit, we'll go 60, but we anticipate a bit of a hesitation at 6220. Okay, this is anticipating that dollar weakness. What looks like it might happen is to sit there and then push up this way. Hey Ahmed, how are you doing? I'm looking to buy at 0.69, oh, 6195. 6195, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside, hesitation at 6220. Hesitation at 0.6220. Okay, there we go. It's pushing up. I like to see it come and test and reject. Okay, that makes sense. Then check that again. That probably would have hit my tick. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, that's closed out already. Okay, USDN closed out. That's done. I'm not going to check that anymore. Now onto the Aussie, the double bottom pushed up. That didn't trigger. Take that away. We don't need that. Resistance has turned a support. Dollar pushing back up slightly. What I would be now looking for on the Aussie would be that level. So looking for it to test the support level here at 6650. I would actually now think, because this is really at that point where it could do that, or it could do that breakout. So we'll consider this if the dollar regains that massive strength, right? Breaking that trend line and that support level, I'll be looking to sell it down below 6645, stop loss 20 pips. I go a bit lower, 6640, stop loss 20 pips, take profit, I would say back down again to 45. Right, I'll look for that, just because if we see that dollar weakness come around, we can buy the Kiwi up. But if we see that dollar strength come back in, breaking that support and that trend line, we can look to sell it back down. With this move as well, you'll see that that's about the 38.2 level. And at 50%. So if it breaks past that area, if it breaks past this area formed by the 38.2, that 50, that horizontal line, and the diagonal trend line, and then we could see a good confluence to push to the downside. Okay, and we're seeing that push up now. Hey Nwachaku, how are you doing? Now 6640, stop loss 20, take profit 45. Sell 66, what am I doing? 6640, stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the downside if we see that dollar strength regain from above 104.30 back up towards 104.60. Right, then onto the US yen, that's closed out. So that those trades did not trigger, we'll take those away, right? And I'm somewhat interested now, even more interested now, because it's broken out of this level that has held through the end of, well, through the end of May, and it's finally broken that 23.6 level. And it's at that 50% level right now. If you look at this, you also want to be careful that it's outside of the Bollinger Band, so it might bounce back up a little bit. Even if it does continue down, it might bounce back up a little bit first. Okay, so something to watch out for. Now at this point, I don't need that channel. Take that away. At this point here of 50, 23 is done. Okay, oh well, that trade is done. That's a 75 pip move to the downside on the US yen, posted on the Discord channel. You can check that one there. Now looking at this, actually if we took this up to catch this whole move, the whole move there, that's my 50, which is at right now. I don't need that. That move is a 61.8, which is right there. This trend line is broken, or it's there. I don't actually need this trend line, so I can take that away. All right, so what I'm looking at here now on the US yen, interestingly, is that if it does break below this 50 and this 61.8 area, then we might see it drop further to the downside. I have this here as a round number. I could have it right there. Okay, so what we're looking for is this area is going to be crucial for now. because it's right at that point. If it does break, then we're going to look at below 155. We're going to have a stop loss of 30 pips. We're going to have a take profit of 115 to the downside. So I've got half of that move. I got that 75 already. Sit out, wait for it. It's going to bounce a little bit. You know why? Because of the Bollinger. So it's going to do that, come back down, bounce around, and then hopefully do that. All right, so 155, 30 to 115 to the downside. So at 155, stop loss 30, take profit 115 to the downside. And you can see it's very interesting. As much as the dollar is trying to push up, the US yen is still trying to push down. So that's something we can look out for. Not an intervention. I don't think it's an intervention. I think it's just market sentiment because of that headliner that we just talked about. Right, tonight's GOLTS, like I was saying, that although it is going to be one of the things to watch, I don't think we're going to see a big fluctuation in the number. So I'm not factoring it too much. On to the pound dollar. Right, we don't need that. We take that away. That's done. Take those away. That whole area, you can see that, oh, that's, don't know why we had that. That whole area, if you stretch it right across, it tested and came right back down. It tested again on the 21st of March and came right back down. It took a long time between the 21st of March all the way to June now that it's tested and signaling that it's going to come right back down again. It could come right back down again despite what we've seen on the dollar, right? The big drop and then a small retrace, but we're seeing a relatively big move here on the pound dollar. What I would say at this point is that if it breaks below, apply that. If it breaks below this 23, okay, that's fine. I would actually wait a little bit more and look for that. So right here, we're not sure whether the dollar is going to continue up or push back down. So I wouldn't do anything right now. Right? I know you would be giving away a little bit of a move, but I would say below 1.2760, right? You have a very tight stop, 15 at the most, 20 pips here, with a take profit back down to about 50 pips to the downside. I'm still looking at that possible level holding, right? Or even if we move that down to this point. So I'm still looking at that below that 38.2, 1.2760, 20 to 50 to the downside. 1.26, oh, there we have it. 70, stop loss, 20, take profit, 50 to the downside. 1.2670, yes. Oh, 1.2760, sorry. 1.2760. 1.2760. Okay. Right, so that again is a dollar strength scenario, pushing it right back down. Then on to the euro. That is one that right after our session, right after this is our session here, it sat there and started pushing back down. I saw that and I just went, I'll try it out. Got into the trade a little bit too early, got into the trade there, trying to take a little bit of a punt, and then it went straight up and hit me out for 20 pips on a loss for the euro dollar as it bounced back up. Right, as it bounced back up on that. then now it's not revenge time, right? As much as I would like to say it's revenge time, it's not time for revenge, because it is sitting right there holding that 23.6 level. That is a resistance turned support, pushing right back down. 61.8 is there. I would say be extra careful, given that it's pushed back up. Also, a quick reminder is that on Thursday, we do have the ECB with their interest rate decision looking to take it down from 4.5 to 4.25. So a rate cut on the from the ECB could see the euro dollar push lower, right? Could see it push lower. I would like to say that if you look at this pushing up, right? So I would like to think that we could see it trade down. This is a setup that I would be looking at. 1.0880, stop loss 20, take profit down to 40. I'm already at revenge with EU, shorted it from 1.0950. Huh? 1.0950. Oh, okay. 1.0950. Yep, right there. With tight stop, very good. I think it could be time that you move your stop loss to break even or to secure some profits and let it run. I'm looking at this for a possible push back down, but I'm also thinking, what if the dollar weakens further to push this back up? Right, I do like a trending scenario. So I want to see what happens at this level first. I want to see what happens at this level. I do think that it might push back up a bit. All right. June Marinas lost 15 on EU, shut down my laptop, I went to sleep. That's a good solution sometimes as well. I'm thinking that I'm just looking at that point. And that's going to be too near. So I'm thinking that it could come down to around here. It could come down to around here, or maybe even slightly lower. And then after that, bounce back up. So since we're already looking at a possible sell on the pound dollar, maybe what would be something to look for? Unfortunately for Neymar, I know you're selling it down. I think that if it comes down, yes, great. On the flip side, I might not do anything on the euro, but I could look for it to test and bounce back up. Jimmy said 1.0925 is the weekly pivot. 1.0925, which is right there. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm actually thinking that it could push up a little bit more. Would be a good reaction right up there to come back down. Right, okay. Yes, so what happens here, what I'm thinking here on the euro is, yes, it could come back down. I'm not going to trade it down. I'll let it run if it does, and push. If it pushes up, what I'm preparing for, what I'll be more preparing for would be to watch where the euro is going to head towards in the lead up to the ECB on Thursday. Right, I think we have a lot of other opportunities to do, and we've done, well, I've done quite well on the US yen, so I'm not going to spoil that. I'll wait that out. I'll look for reaction along. Okay, I'll look for reaction here. Take all of that away. The only time I'll be looking to sell down on the euro is if it breaks that 38 for a small move back down. So I'm looking for reaction between 1.0870 and 1.0890. Okay, so euro, we're going to be looking for reaction between 1.0870 and 1.0890. Looking for reaction in that point. I think that, well, if it breaks, then you can look to sell it down. If it bounces, I'd be a bit careful unless you see that dollar weakness come back down, then you can continue to buy it back up. But we're going to see what happens at this point first. Okay, then like Michael Dollar was asking, pound dollar retracing back down, we're looking for it to push. Euro dollar being a bit undecided, looking at the euro pound. This is where you have to be. So we saw that test and reject, take that away, that was been a while. Okay, that level is done. You keep that there, doesn't make a difference. This, at this point, is where you do nothing. All right, this is where you do nothing, absolutely nothing, because pound dollar coming back down, right? Pound dollar coming back down, you're anticipating that this could push down. Euro dollar being a bit undecided, wouldn't do anything at this point. All you're looking for is whether it could bounce off from this support. You'll be looking at 8505 stop loss, very tight, no more than 15, very generous at 15, right? Take profit back up that 30-40 pips to the upside. Or if it pushes up, I don't think it'll push up. If it pushes up, then look for that back down again. So I wouldn't do anything on the euro pound now. All I'm looking for is that or that, and I think that the more likely you see that trend, big trending, is just sitting in that range, right? I think that you get a better opportunity on the euro pound with the ECB news on Thursday, rather than to try and force or try and figure something out for now. Okay, hope I answered your question there. Michael Dollar. Then on to the US Swiss franc, tested, had a bit of a rebound. We saw that, we saw that push, had a bit of a rebound here, but it broke that support because of that dollar weakness. Didn't trigger that, push down, consolidating. We don't need that. Consolidating this, you'd be looking at if the dollar does continue to weaken or retrace and weaken, then you'll be looking for this to consolidate and break to the downside towards the support. Don't need that. Towards the support at 8890. And I would be looking at what happens here. So 8895. Not a lot of trades on this tool right now, right? So we look for reaction at 0.8895 on the US Swiss franc. Support. It moved 20 pips up and retraced to my entry, consolidating, now lock up the trade. Yeah, that's about the euro pound. It moved up 20 pips. So you sold and then it bounced 20 pips. That's, where do you sell it from? Hang on. This whole move is only 40. So you would have done, or you would have got in about there, bounce back up. Yeah, it's just in the middle. I don't like, and it's not a very big range, so I wouldn't be too keen on trying to do anything there. So I think you got in about that point, buy it up, and then it came back down again. Yeah, I don't like trading that kind of ranges. Then onto the US CAD is doing that. I'll keep that view. So this was what we talked about yesterday. Double bottom, push to the upside, hit my take profit at 30 pips at 38.2 level, and then the next moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours later, if I was too greedy and I went for like 40, even 40 pips, would have gone straight down to hit my stop loss, right? But that was in the shout out with you guys on the 30 pip to the upside. Take that away. It did bounce, so it found that bounce, push back up. I'll keep this view at 1.3675, stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the upside for the US CAD. 1.3675, 20 to 45 to the upside. That's if we see that dollar come back into play. No CAD news today, but after this move, I'll just be off on the CAD, just waiting for the interest rate decision tomorrow. Aussie GDP at 0.2 is not going to do too much, so I'll keep that view. Bollinger is slightly outside. We've got 15 minutes to the close. So what's likely to happen is going to retrace a little bit before trying to push back up again, possibly, or it might test and then push back down. I might push this up a little bit. I'll give it a bit more space. I don't like it so near. 1.3680. 20 to 45. I'll still keep that, but 1.3680. Just because it's pushing up right now, I want to give it a bit more space. All right, dollar is pushing up. Then on to gold. Ooh, what's all that? Okay, on to gold. It didn't, so we're looking for that to test and reject 23.30 to trade down. It got up to 23, where are we? We were right there. It got up to 23.30, didn't reject and push up, so that would have been offset. Now it's pushed up, and you know what, actually, looking at the way most prices are going, we're looking at maybe that dollar strength really coming back into play. Now what you should see here is that double top formation, right? That double top formation, which could push it down, but you also might have that neckline being formed at that point there, right? So on gold, I'm possibly thinking that we see a test and rejection. I'm looking for it to come back down towards, if it breaks below 23.40, which is very close. If it breaks below 23.40, we could see it get to 23.20. I'm still looking at the downside on gold. Test. We're looking at that. Okay, below gold, below 23.40 could trade down to 23.20. There we have it. Okay. 8520 euro pound 8520. Yeah, heavy about that. 8520 stop loss 27, it wouldn't go 70. 70 pips would be very optimistic to the upside. 8520. Thinking that you get to 70 would be a break of that resistance and many different levels as well, and a 20 pip stop loss. So yeah, I think that the take profit was a bit too optimistic there. Okay, Nav is asking about US oil. Oil sitting right there. It looks so similar in terms. I was just looking at the euro pound. It's dropped and it's set across. Oil clicked that and dropped and sitting right across. I haven't got any news on oil. Oil slides to 4-month low as OPEC Plus move is seen as bearish. Supply rising later in 2024. Maybe we'll see, based on the news. I mean, this is not something I look at a lot. Based on the news, it looks like we're testing this level with a possibility that it's going to retrace or continue slightly lower to test at 75 or 76 level as a bit of a base support. So testing, consolidating along that 77 level, might drop slightly towards that 75, 85 level. All right, Nav. Okay, so with all that said, please remember, help me out, click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Do join me on Discord, and if not, then I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care, trade well, trade safe. Bye-bye now.